Okay, so I went through and I answered all of the questions that you had sent to Michaela, and then she sent them to me, and I typed them up on a document so that I can just read it, the document, and so if I'm looking over here, that's why. Um, so I'm Kylie McCluskey, and you said that I could do this video due to my family, my grandfather being in the hospital, so all right, here I go. So, the most interesting yet surprising thing to me was simply the fact that there is a stereotype being set out there at such a young age group, for both boys and girls. I am a female. Throughout high school, I received a 4.0 GPA, and therefore I was on the National Honor Society. I came into nursing school right out of college, and I'm excelling, in my opinion. Excelling throughout my nursing program, which essentially will give me the degree and an opportunity to save lives. In my opinion, that is brilliant. And like I said, I'm a woman, and what I'm doing for the community and my career is brilliant. And it is disheartening to know that these young kids at 6 and 7 years old are being told, whether that be by their parents or by teachers, friends, somewhere they're learning this, that women are not brilliant, or they're doubting the fact that women cannot be brilliant. It can raise concern for when those children who took this, this survey, for when they're older. And it's concerning to see if their opinions will change or if they'll let this affect what they decide to do with their careers. And especially for the girls, when they say that women can't be brilliant, if those girls are going to grow up and believe that, then how will that affect their jobs? Are they going to hold back? Are they not going to do what they want just because they're worried that they're not going to be brilliant? So that's just concerning. And hopefully, I can only hope that girls don't hold back from doing those kinds of things just because they think that they have that in their mind right now. Moving forward, I think there is a leadership gap between males and females because, in general, men are looked at as the providers of the family, at least in most cases. I was just actually having a conversation with some of my friends, and they're still stuck in the past, generations and generations ago, where women stay at home, men do the work, men bring in the money, they're the providers. I just don't think that that's, obviously in this day and age, we are not like that anymore. Women work just as much as men, like I said, in most cases. So to have that speculation, sorry, I thought I just heard something in my house, excuse me. To have that mindset is what creates that leadership gap. I have seen this being presented in many situations. I know of some men that would actually prefer their wives to stay home to take care of their kids. That's their thing, and they're fine and they're happy about it. But I also believe that this can answer the question of why women are not seen as smart as men, because men are looked at as superior. Women are looked at as after men. Men are seen as superior. Men are stronger than women. It kind of goes like that. I don't think that. I'm just saying that's how men think that they're stronger than women. So I feel like that can also answer that question. For the next question, characteristics that I look for in a leader are basically the types that we have been discussing and seeing in the discussion posts throughout this course so far. But to add a few more, for example, I think confidence, honesty, ambition, motivation, wanting to strive to make a difference for the community and to others, and to have followers that look up to them. They have to have those things. Like, you can't, to be like, if you don't have those things, yes, you can be a leader, but you're probably not going to be a good leader, and you probably won't have many followers. And so I think it's important to have traits that make you a good leader so you can make a difference for other people. I feel like these traits can be seen in both men and women. I personally don't think that it's just tied to one gender. Men can be honest, men can be confident, they can have motivation. It's just as much as women can. These preferences have come from what I've experienced so far in my life, whether it be at work or home. I see it at work all the time. I have great nurses that I work with, and they're wonderful leaders, ones that I want to be like when I am done with school. Same with doctors. You can have a good doctor and you can have a bad doctor. I've seen both sides of it. So those are my two. Those are where my preferences have come from. I do agree with the article, and yes, I can relate, of the article of how women have to change what they say when talking to men. I can relate to this. For example, my own boyfriend has made comments to me that I was yelling at him when explaining something, when I really wasn't. I wasn't yelling at all, but I then have to go into explain in depth of what I was talking about and how I was just explaining something, and I wasn't attacking him. But unfortunately, women do face this issue. They do. And you can see it at work, you can see it just anywhere, grocery store, talking to strangers, especially if they don't know you and know what you mean. And I feel like this can come across in texting. I can't tell you how many times, especially with my mom, she's like, why are you, well, I'm the one that says it. She's like, because sometimes the way she texts, I say, why are you yelling at me, Mom? And she has to explain it to me. But I feel like that example can go for I guess, relationships, not just with men and women, but with relationships. And, texting is just a different thing in its own self. So, lastly, I feel the biggest obstacle for men in nursing is that their patients and people will view them as not caring, so to speak. Women are more viewed as the caring and compassionate type. So, and it's unfortunate that men have to feel this way. Some people don't view men to be that way, so they worry that they aren't going to receive good care or whatnot. I think men can make great nurses. I've also seen that working in a hospital. I see that we have a lot of men that are nurses, and they're great. Another issue for men in nursing is the fact that they are nurses, and it's also very unfortunate. For example, when you ask, let's say you ask a classroom of 6th graders, what do you think a nurse looks like? They're gonna say, and I probably would have said the same thing as a kid, because at that age, we really don't know. But they're most likely going to say a woman who wears white scrubs, and they have the white hat with a little cross on the front, that's how they perceive it. But in fact, that's not the case. And hopefully we can raise our children to understand that men can be nurses. Men can do great things that are seen as the job of a woman. So I think those are really two big obstacles for men in nursing. Of course, there's so many more, but I think those two are very, very important. So those are my answers to those questions. If I didn't answer something the way you thought would be the right answer, I don't know, please let me know. Or if you have any questions, also please let me know. Thank you.